Hey, what's going on, good people? Joseph McLemore, aka the Champ of Real Estate here. I got my partner here with me. Go ahead and introduce yourself, bro.
What's going on, everybody out there? My name is Jay Goodwin. I'm here with my partner, Champ of Real Estate. And we just kind of want to break down the foreclosure process to everybody out there because there's a lot of misconceptions and a lot of people have the timeline mixed up. So that's what we're here to break the whole foreclosure process down for you guys.
Exactly. So yeah, me and my partner, we run On Time Realty Solutions. We like to try to help people get out of situations like this, and we deal with a lot of people that are in some type of foreclosure or forbearance, some kind of hardship. And we just want to clear up what the timeline looks like and explain to you guys what the process looks like for foreclosure. Okay. So pretty much, foreclosure itself is just the bank trying to redeem the funds that they loan to a potential borrower. And we're going to go ahead and go down the timeline so you guys get a better understanding. So if you are out there and you're dealing with this situation, you kind of know what the process is going to look like. And if you need some help, you can always reach out and we're here for that. So first and foremost, when you're dealing with the pre-foreclosure, you're probably suffering some type of hardship. You either lost your job. A lot of people I talk to, it's either they lost their job, they lost their spouse, they got injured, something like that caused them to fall behind. Okay. And normally when this happens is when the first step of pre-foreclosure calls. We like to call this pre-foreclosure. So within this period, this is within your first 1 to 3 months of being behind on your first payment. Once you get behind on that first payment, the bank's going to naturally start blowing you up, giving you a call, trying to figure out what the heck's going on and if you're going to be able to catch up on this payment. So this is when the first step goes into place. And a lot of times, this is when a potential borrower goes into hiding mode. They put their head in the sand. They aren't sure what they're going to do. They aren't sure they're going to be able to save the property. More than likely, if you're behind on your house notes, you're probably behind on some other bills, so you're dodging collectors that way too. And a lot of people just shut down. I want to tell you that is the worst thing you can do. Right now, within this first 3 months period, is when you have the most leverage. This is when you can figure out the next step. You have the most options to actually take. There are a few things that you can actually do within this period that can help you, whether you want to save the home or sell the home for top value. Jason, you want to touch on a few of those?
Yeah, like Joseph just said, that's the best time to act. I know, like he said, people tend to go into a shell. There's a lot of anxiety, a lot of going on, a lot of stress. I just want to stress that you're not the only one this happened to. Doesn't mean you're a bad person. It's happened to a lot of people. Like life just life, as they say. Things happen. So you don't want to go on the shell. Like Joseph said, this is the most time you have the leverage and the most time that the bank's going to work with you. So you have different options. Now we'll do a separate video where we go deeper into these options, but just three options that normally people have in this situation if they contact the bank will be either a loan modification, we call it a loan mod, or a forbearance, which is kind of a deferring of the payments. They put it on back end, or they'll delay your payments. You'll stop making them actually, and then a lump sums usually do. Usually a forbearance is like 3 to 6 months. They'll give you a break on the payments. Like I said, we'll go deeper into that later. So you have the loan mod, the forbearance, or you have which is like a repayment plan, and the bank takes what you owe and they'll break it down into several payments, add it onto your normal payment, and then when you get caught up, you'll resume with your normal payment. A lot of times I notice is that people confuse all these things together. They don't know the difference between what a loan modification or forbearance. They kind of all think it's the same and it's not the same. And each one is better for people in different situations. So you need to understand those things when you're talking to the bank. If you're not sure, you might want to reach out to somebody. Like I said, we counsel people in that, help people out in that. We actually don't even charge for those services. It's like consulting. So you want to know what's the best thing for your particular situation. But those are the three things that you have at your disposal if you happen to fall behind. And just reiterating what my partner said, you don't want to wait and what we call kind of putting your head in the sand. That's the worst thing you want to do.
Definitely. This next step is pretty much you're actually in pre-foreclosure. This usually happens within the first 3 months to 4 month period or 3 month to 6 month period. Once you go about 90 days without making a payment back to the bank or not figuring out some type of strategy to get caught up, that's when the bank sends out what is called a notice of default. So if you're going through this, you probably noticed around that 90th day that you had a bunch of new strangers giving you a call. Okay. And the reason for that, that notice of default, that is basically public knowledge. It's the bank putting not only you as the owner on notice, but the public on notice that, hey, this property may be up for sale soon at an auction if we can't rectify the back payments.
Just to jump in for a minute on that, notice he said your public record. So, like I said, we do this as a business. So we reach out to people. We've helped a lot of people keep their homes, help them do work with the bank and get back on track. Some people might be the other alternative. They might just need a fresh start. But either way, you don't want to have your guards up so much. Yeah, you want to have your filter up. There is like scams out here and stuff like that. But there's easy ways to filter through that, whether a person is a scam or not. You don't want to have your guards up and no one deep researched you and went and found out a bunch of details about you. Like my partner said, this stuff is put on public record and it's out there for anybody to see. So it's not like a big deep secret, like someone went to your house and looked at the default notice posted on your garage or anything like that. That's not what this is. It's public record. So I just wanted to jump in with that.
No, I appreciate that because we do get a lot of people wondering how we got their information or how do we know. This is all public info. This is what the bank does. The bank has the right to do this. And it's actually something they have to do while in the foreclosure process. They have to give public notice and give you enough time to kind of rectify the back payments. So this is something that they do. That's usually why all of a sudden you're going to get calls from a bunch of strangers. And the crazy thing, it's not even all the time. It's not just investors. It may be companies that want to loan you hard money. It may be companies that bankruptcy attorneys, because they want to try to figure out if they can help you keep the home. That's another way you can save the home. We'll touch on that a little bit later. We aren't bankruptcy attorneys, but we may bring somebody in to kind of speak on that to figure out how that process works for you. But this is why you're going to start this kind of process where you're at with it. Once again, you still have a few more options that you can take. You want to make sure that you're gaining knowledge to figure out what's going to be the best step for you and your family next. Basically, now you want another another 90 days. You're in that 3-6 month window. You still haven't been able to catch it. Now you're in what they call the notice to sale period. Okay. So if the bank hasn't figured out, once again, how you're going to pay them back, what you're going to do, now the bank is reaching out more aggressively. They're going to send you a notice to sale letter. Okay. Once you receive this letter, usually within 3 to 4 weeks, is when you're going to have a scheduled auction date for the bank to sell your property. Okay. Now your back's really, really against the wall. You don't have a lot of options. You aren't going to have time to do a loan. You aren't going to have time to put the home on the market and sell it at full retail. You're going to have to wiggle around this and probably be very aggressive on what the next step is you're going to take, so you don't lose the property and lose all your equity. Now, this is kind of where this is one of the areas we definitely specialize in. We've helped families stop auctions the day before, with when they wanted to sell with us.
Yeah.
We've been able to
a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
Just did it a couple of weeks ago. Had a seller kind of the same thing, put his head in the sand, waited literally 48 hours before his auction date and reached out to us, said he wanted to sell. We hurried up. We agreed on a price point that worked for both sides. We were able to call the bank, call the trustee, get the auction postponed so we could go through the escrow process of actually helping him get the home sold, buy it, so we can, do what we do as far as investors and whatnot. But we definitely don't suggest doing it this way.
I recommend that because it doesn't end well all the time. And
Exactly.
and my partner said trustee. I mean, you might not know what that is, but the trustee is like the attorney that handles the sale of your property. The bank doesn't handle that. They basically give it to a trustee and then they let them handle it. And that's why there's extra fees involved, because the bank's going to charge you for that. So that's why there's extra fees involved and stuff when you're trying to get caught up, if you allow yourself to get deep into it like this. That's why we suggest during that first part, it's not about pride. It's not about feeling ashamed. A lot of people have been through this situation because things happen that you can't control. So that's why it's best to handle these situations early on and decide what's best for you and your family. You don't want to get deep into the process because there's more fees involved. And a bank's not going to work with you as far as loan modification. If you get this deep in the process, you might as well start trying to look at other alternatives because the banks, they're pretty much not even going to talk to you about a loan mod. Everything's going to be trustee. They're going to just play ping pong with you. They're going to send you to each other. The bank's going to say, oh, you talk to trustee. Trustee going to say, oh, you need to talk to the bank. So, yeah, you need to handle this as soon as possible. That's the best thing for you to do and anyone in this situation.
Exactly. So yeah, remember, time is of the essence. As soon as you miss that first payment, the clock's ticking. Time is of the essence. You got a few things that you can do, and you need to figure out what is going to be the best strategy for you. But stay on top of that. Now, unfortunately, let's say you get to this point, and now you're officially at D-Day. You are officially, your home's going to be auctioned, and you have no idea what to do. Okay, so I can tell you, in states like California, you are almost out of luck.
The home's going to sell here.
The
Doesn't matter the
home's going to
condition.
sell.
Property's going to sell in California. It's not like you're in the Midwest somewhere where property goes up for auction, it doesn't sell, and they keep putting it back up and back up. Even if it didn't sell, it doesn't go back to your possession. The bank still owns it. But I'm saying, as far as like the sheriff coming to knock on your door and get you out of there, that might be delayed in other states, whether it's judicial or non-judicial. We'll explain that on the next video we do. But in California, that doesn't happen. A property sale, so you lost all your equity in the property, and then sooner or later the sheriff's coming to your house and get you and your family out, or just you, who's ever there with you. It's a very bad situation that you want to try to prevent.
Yeah, so to Jason's point, like, not only are you kind of out of luck, you're going to probably lose the home, you're going to get evicted. They're going to put this foreclosure on your credit that's going to stay there for 7 years. You won't be able to remove it. It creates just an instant downhill slope if you aren't taking care of this. In some states, though, to Jason's point, you do have a redemption period. States like Michigan, Ohio, Alabama, they'll give you about 6 months to a year, depending on the circumstances of what's going on with the home, to actually redeem the property. And that means essentially you can either win the lotto and pay the bank completely off what was owed, what the home is valued, or you can still sell the property. You still have a right to sell the property. As long as the bank recoups the value, you can sell the property and collect some of the equity, but you have to sell to a cash buyer. They are not going to allow you to put that on the market and get another loan. They're going to want to see a cash buyer in the other end of that transaction. Right. Once again, that's where we kind of step in.
And those are usually in the judicial states, which I talked about earlier a little bit. We'll go deeper into that in another video as far as the difference between the judicial and a non-judicial state. California is a non-judicial state. So the foreclosure process is exactly how Joseph explained it earlier. Those other states, we'll touch on the differences in a future video.
So yeah, and that is pretty much the whole process. You're looking at about, when you go into foreclosure, you're looking at about a 7-month to a year-long process, depending upon what state you're in and what's going on with the property. But from A to Z, from point A to B, I should say, that's pretty much how the process goes. So if you guys happen to be out there, you see this video and you're going through the foreclosure and you want to get a little bit more detailed about what to do, or you want to set up a private one-on-one with me or my partner, we'll go ahead and put the link to our website below so you can schedule an appointment, and our number as well, so you can call us directly if you're really, really anxious to figure out what's going on. But that's the biggest thing I could say, because me and Jason, we went through this before too. As part of the reason we started this company, and we would have loved to have someone give us this type of knowledge to help us through it too. Okay, so that's my biggest thing. Remember, time is of the essence. Do not hesitate to at least learn what you can do or figure out what you're going to do next. Okay, so until the next video, we look forward to helping as many people as we can. You guys stay safe, stay blessed, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, stay blessed. All the info will be down below.